What up, world? It's your boy Jaystar back again with the top 5 at tight end for the Week 12 edition, man. Let's see what we got. What we got here? Looks like at number 5 we got David Njoku, y'all. Let's see what are they giving up here? So this is Tampa Bay. Okay. They're top 10 then at giving up fantasy points to tight end. Looking at about 14 or so fantasy points there. It's where you need to attack the field, I would say. And then they're a 2 wide receiver set team anyway, so they don't really have a slot receiver. So the slot receiver, I mean, we know, I want to say Amari Cooper does move around and can, roam in the, routes in the middle of the field. But their main target, slot receiver, when they go against 3-4 defense, as you see, Baltimore, seven receptions. I mean, 7 for 7 right here. But New England, 6. Chargers, 6. Atlanta, 7. As you see, all 3-4 defense, they target David Njoku a lot because, like I keep telling y'all about that 3-4, man. Attack the middle of the field. And when teams only are a 2 wide receiver set team, they usually go to their tight end, because that is their slot receiver. So he's in play for these 7, which you see right here, targets, in play for 14 fantasy, like exactly what they give up. So definitely a great spot right there for Njoku at number 5. And at number 4, we got a cheap option here. Trey McBride. I definitely feel like he's going to fill the shoes of Ertz. They picked him, in the draft this year. And most of the tight ends that got picked in the draft this year are actually good tight ends because they got picked so late. And it was actually really good tight ends, but everybody was trying to fill their roster with wide receivers because it was a really big, wide receiver draft this year. Really good talent out there. But there was also good talent at tight ends, but a lot of teams didn't need them, But as when they did get drafted, like I said, these are good tight ends. So I feel like Trey McBride is going to be able to play really well, especially when Kyler gets back. So if Kyler is back, I feel like Trey McBride has a really good game here. And is in play for, 14 fantasy points there. So I definitely think he can get that for 3,100. And then we have at number 3, very cheap option here with Jordan Atkins. This is a little bit of a gamble here because we do know the targets are very low. But he is at least getting consistent targets lately and is in play for, let me see, what is it again here? 16 fantasy points. So a lot of fantasy points there, man. It's just all on him getting the targets. Hopefully you can get back to like a 4 target game because he can possibly really get that 16 fantasy points there. Maybe gets in for a goal line touchdown, being that this is a game where they're going to have to score a lot. And it's going to have to come from somewhere. Like somebody's going to have to catch some touchdowns in this game. And maybe it's Jordan Atkins, and that's how he gets there to that 16 fantasy points. The reason why he makes it at number 3. And at number 2, though, we go back up. And we got Foster Moreau. He's been very a part of the offense as of lately. And, I mean, basically just getting exactly the usage that we've seen for, what do I want to say? Waller, Waller probably had about 9 targets, but he's getting at least half of that, with the 5 and the 4s and stuff like that. But he's also really looked at in the red zone, so that's really great to see. And has a great matchup, second most fantasy points, so that's why he's at number 2. Because, of course, at number 1 this week, we got Gerald Everett. If he's able to be active this game, he's in the best spot. So he got to make it at number 1. I know he's hurt, so if you don't, if he doesn't end up playing, we just got to go to the one before this. We go to the tight end before this. But also on the other side, too, though, this game, well, we already said that. But also on the other side is probably a great spot, too, you just go to, as well. If you don't want to go with Foster Moreau. But then who just missed the cut here, since, like I say, also they don't really have a good backup here, so I can't really just say go to the backup, because they didn't really throw to their backup at all and establish a backup tight end. So there's really no other play there. Let's just say, oh yeah, he's the number 1 option then. But at number 6, who just missed the cut here, let's see. Yep, he's still cheap. Logan Thomas. Coming off of 2, he's getting back to the targets that we used to seeing him get to. And that's really good to see with Heineke that he's able to even spread the ball, this well. Playing Atlanta, they're giving up 13 fantasy points to tight ends. So I definitely think that's in play for Logan Thomas, but he just is with a quarterback that's not as proven, to spreading the ball out like that. So that's why he just missed the cut there. But that's it for tight ends at top 5. I wanted to also throw in with this tight end video some defensive tops. So let's look at this. Let's see what we got here. Looking like top number 1 defense. Well, let's go to 5 and through up. Let's do 5 through up here. So I would say we got Jets at number 5. Playing against Chicago, one of the number 1 sack quarterbacks, and they've been sacking galore, as you see. So definitely they're going to be number 5 then for that reason alone. And let's see. Then we got at number 4. Should I say it is? Okay, so we got 2 that looks like almost is tied with the Panthers defense, and then as well as, let's see, are they more expensive? The Broncos defense. Yeah, so there would probably be 3 then because of Baker is really bad. And not really expecting him to be able to, score on the Broncos. Really, they have a good defense. I expect them to get back. That was a rivalry, so I expect a rivalry to be able to score on them. And know what they're doing. Plus, not only a rivalry, but the Vegas offense is like number 5 in yards, I think, per game or something. I want to say like per what I want to say per possession. So they're really high up there in their offense. Their defenses was bad for the Raiders, but offensively they get down the field on everybody. So that's why it doesn't really matter. Patrick Surtain and all that doesn't even matter. And of course, I know they don't have Chubb and things like that anymore, but their defense is still tough. So they make it at number 3. And then we have at number 2. Let's see, who do I got at number 2 this week? Looks like the Dolphins defense. Wow, did not know that. Dolphins defense is up there this week. Texans is giving up some of the highest points that I see here. So definitely got to say they make it in there. Plus they're getting a little bit more healthier and stuff like that, and a little bit stronger with the pickups that they picked up in the mid-season before trade deadlines, things like that. But the number 1 defense this week is going to go to the Chiefs, y'all. So Rams has been giving up the most points to defenses. And being that I usually like to pick on quarterbacks that lose weapons anyways, especially when it's their best weapon, and he lost Cooper Kupp, and didn't look as great, at least the first game, and we know he was coming off a concussion, but this is a game where he's going to have to drop back to pass a lot, which could cause for sacks and cause for interceptions, and Stafford has been doing definitely both of those things. So puts the Chiefs at number 1 for that reason. Hope y'all enjoyed that, man, that extra ad with the defense, in the tight end video here. It's your boy Jaystar, man. Good luck this week. I'm out. Peace.